Welcome back. If you're on the lookout for a new place to settle down, but price is usually an issue because let's face it, living in California is so expensive. Get this, we know some local places that might actually be in your budget. So joining us right now to talk about the decrease in local rent is Brian Carberry. Welcome, Brian. I have to say, it is good to hear that prices are actually going down, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you said it, prices are notoriously high, especially in California. So wherever you can find a good deal right now is definitely good news for anyone looking for a place to live.
Okay, so help me out with this. What does the current rental market look like in Sacramento?
Sure. So in Sacramento, prices in the city of Sacramento themselves have actually increased really over the past year by about 6%. There is some demand. There's, some supply and demand issues depending on specific neighborhoods. But overall, it's a more hot market than other places. But there are some areas around Sacramento, West Sacramento notably, where rent prices are actually decreasing and have decreased significantly since this time last year. In West Sacramento, for instance, one bedroom rent is down about 40%. That's, kind of an overall average. That doesn't mean that every single unit is going to be cheaper, but it definitely means that you are going to have affordable options if you do your homework and you look around.
Affordable options, yeah. So that brings me to my next question, especially being from Ohio and the prices are different than California. So how does Sacramento compare to other places like Ohio?
Sure. So Sacramento is seeing the price increase, like I said, and it really depends on each market. I mean, in Ohio, for instance, you might have some cities where rent prices are decreasing and some cities where rent prices are increasing. So Cleveland is a good example where rent prices are going up right now. But if you look at a place like Toledo or Dayton, it's going to be flat or slightly decreasing. Sacramento, if you compare it to California, prices are increasing in Sacramento, whereas in California as a whole, statewide, they're pretty much staying flat. It's more affordable to rent in Sacramento, however, than it is California as a whole. It's just you are kind of seeing that year-over-year increase in one city compared to the state where it is staying steady.
Those are some good points there. Yes, at least Sacramento is so beautiful. So that brings me to my next question, especially when a lot of people are just worried about keeping their jobs, feeding their families, and of course paying rent. So the big question we want to know is, when a time we really need it, why are we seeing that decrease?
There's a couple different factors that could be at play. The current economy definitely does play a role in terms of people moving and looking. There's a little less demand in certain areas. And it's also, if you look right before the pandemic and the economy kind of, tanked a little bit, people were moving. People were spending more money because they had the money to spend. The economy was doing really well. Some apartments, especially luxury apartments, were priced a little bit higher and people may have moved in, and those higher priced units are now off the market. And what's available now is more lower priced things, and those lower priced units are really driving down that average. So that's one thing that you can look at there. And two, it just could be that there are more newer buildings that may have opened. I really can't speak for specific neighborhoods in Sacramento. I'm not there. You could probably tell me more about it. But if there's more new construction that has opened at a lower price point, that is going to drive that average down. But on the other side, if there's a lot of luxury units that have been built that are just opening right now that are priced higher, that's going to drive the average up. So in Sacramento as a whole, where we are seeing that price increasing, we could be seeing some newer construction that just completed prior to all this starting in that higher price point. And in some of these other neighborhoods, those higher priced units are off the market where they weren't last year at this time, and you're left with those lower priced alternatives.
Thank you so much for answering all our questions. I feel like every question we threw at it, you're like, yep, I know the fact for that. So I do feel prepared. And I will also keep West Sacramento in mind when it comes to renting, because you said prices are down and we all need to save money.
They are, absolutely.
Thank you so much. We look forward to talking to you, of course, again.
This interview involves commercial content. The products and services featured appear as paid advertising.